You're surrounded by wrapping paper, decorations, and the sounds of celebration. The tree is lit. The gifts are exchanged. Everyone is smiling, laughing, playing the part. And yet somewhere inside you, there's a strange emptiness, a feeling that all of this, all the ritual and tradition and forced cheer, is missing something essential, something you can't name but can definitely feel. You go through the motions, you say Merry Christmas, you eat the food and sing the songs and post the pictures. But when you're honest with yourself, late at night when the house is quiet, you wonder, is this all there is? Is Christmas just shopping and stress and pretending to be happy? Because if it is, why does it leave you feeling so hollow? What if I told you that a philosopher who lived 200 years ago felt exactly what you're feeling? That he saw Christmas becoming an empty performance even in his time, and he understood exactly what was being lost? That he knew why the celebration feels hollow and, more importantly, what it would take to make it real? Søren Kierkegaard was a Christian who was tormented by Christianity, not because he didn't believe, but because he believed too seriously to accept the comfortable, domesticated version that surrounded him. He looked at the Christmas celebrations in Copenhagen and saw people going through the motions of faith without actually having faith. He saw religion reduced to ritual. He saw the most radical event in human history turned into a cozy holiday. And he has something crucial to tell you about Christmas, not the Christmas of shopping lists and obligation, the Christmas that could actually transform your life if you let it. For the next 15 minutes, I'm going to show you what Christmas really means through the eyes of a philosopher who took it more seriously than almost anyone. Whether you're a believer, a skeptic, or somewhere in between, what Kierkegaard understood about this holiday might change how you experience it forever. Stay with me. This isn't going to be what you expect. Before we continue, I need to ask you something. When you think about Christmas, what do you actually feel? Not what you're supposed to feel. Not joy and peace and wonder. What do you actually experience? Be honest. Leave a comment. Because naming the truth is the first step to finding something real. Søren Kierkegaard was born in Copenhagen in 1813 and died there in 1855, having barely traveled beyond the city his entire life. But within that small geographic existence, he explored psychological and spiritual territories that most people never touch. His father, Michael, cast a long shadow. Michael was consumed by religious guilt, convinced that he had cursed his family by once as a starving shepherd boy on the Danish heath, raising his fist at God. This guilt infected the household. Young Søren grew up surrounded by the heaviness of sin and the desperate need for salvation. But here's what's crucial. Kierkegaard didn't rebel against faith. He rebelled against the comfortable version of faith that made it easy, that stripped it of its demands, that turned the Christian message into a social club and a holiday occasion. He looked around at Danish Christianity and saw what he called Christendom, not Christianity, Christendom, a cultural system where everyone was automatically Christian by birth, where faith required nothing, where the radical claims of the gospel had been domesticated into respectability. Christmas was the perfect symbol of this domestication, the infinite becoming finite, the eternal entering time, God becoming a helpless infant. This, Kierkegaard insisted, was the most scandalous, incomprehensible event imaginable. And what had Christendom done with it? Turned it into a nice occasion for family gatherings and gift exchanges. Kierkegaard's central concept for understanding Christmas is what he called the leap of faith. Faith, for Kierkegaard, is not about evidence. It's not about being convinced by arguments. You can't reason your way to genuine faith any more than you can reason your way to love. Faith requires a leap, a decision to commit in the absence of certainty, a choice to believe what cannot be proven. And the Christmas story demands the most impossible leap of all, the claim that the eternal, infinite God entered human existence as a baby, that the Creator became a creature, that the all-powerful became utterly helpless. This is not a comfortable idea, it's a scandal, it's absurd. Kierkegaard used that word deliberately. The Christmas message is absurd in the sense that it defies human reason, human expectation, human categories. And that's exactly why we've cushioned it with Santa Claus and shopping and sentiment, because the actual message is too disturbing. It asks too much. It would require us to rethink everything. If this is making you think about Christmas differently, I need you to do something now. Like this video and subscribe to the channel. Not for metrics, but because this perspective on Christmas needs to reach people who feel the emptiness but don't know why. And what comes next is where Kierkegaard shows us what's really at stake. Kierkegaard identified 3 stages of existence, 3 ways of living, and they help us understand how we approach Christmas. The first is the aesthetic stage. This is the life of pleasure, sensation, variety. The aesthete lives for the moment, seeking stimulation, avoiding boredom at all costs. Christmas in the aesthetic stage is about the decorations, the food, the gifts, the parties. It's about creating a pleasant atmosphere, having nice experiences. There's nothing wrong with this per se, but it's shallow. When the decorations come down, nothing has changed. The person is the same as before. The second is the ethical stage. This is the life of duty, commitment, responsibility. The ethical person takes on obligations, keeps promises, fulfills roles. Christmas in the ethical stage is about family duty, about tradition, about maintaining rituals because they're important, about showing up because you're supposed to. This is deeper than the aesthetic, but it can still be hollow. You can do all the right things for Christmas without being genuinely transformed by any of it. The third is the religious stage. This is the life of genuine faith, where a person confronts the ultimate questions and makes the leap into commitment to something transcendent. Christmas in the religious stage is something else entirely. It's not about pleasant experiences or family duty. It's about personally encountering the claim that God became human. It's about deciding whether that claim calls for a response from you and what that response might be. First question for you: which stage does your Christmas experience live in? Are you in the aesthetic stage of pleasure and decoration, the ethical stage of duty and tradition, or have you ever touched the religious stage where Christmas asks something of your deepest self? Write your honest answer in the comments, because naming where you are is the first step to going deeper. Kierkegaard would say that most people never reach the religious stage, not because they're bad people, but because the religious stage is terrifying. It requires confronting uncertainty. It requires making commitments without proof. It requires becoming a genuine individual rather than just going along with what everyone else does. He had a phrase for the comfortable state most people live in. He called it the crowd. The crowd is untruth, he said. The crowd is where individuals lose themselves, where personal responsibility dissolves into what everyone thinks, where the radical becomes safe through repetition and consensus. Christmas is a perfect example. The crowd celebrates Christmas. Everyone does it. It's automatic, cultural, expected. But Kierkegaard would ask, are you celebrating Christmas, or is the crowd celebrating Christmas through you? Are you making a personal choice or just going along with what's done? This brings us to what Kierkegaard would say about the modern Christmas. He would look at the shopping, the stress, the commercialization, and he would see exactly what he saw in his own time: an escape from the real message, a way of keeping busy so that we don't have to confront what Christmas claims. Because the claim is outrageous. The claim is that the eternal God loved humanity so much that he entered human existence, experienced human suffering, lived a human life, died a human death. The claim is that the infinite reached toward the finite, the creator toward the created, the perfect toward the broken. If this claim is true, nothing can be the same. Your life cannot be the same. Your priorities cannot be the same. Everything must be re-examined in light of it. But who wants that? Who wants to re-examine everything? Much easier to exchange gifts, eat ham, watch movies, and let the holiday pass without it disturbing anything essential. Second question: what if Christmas were actually true? What if the claims at the center of it, God becoming human, the infinite entering the finite, were real? How would that change how you're living your life? This isn't about whether you believe. It's about whether you've ever genuinely faced the question. Before we continue toward what to do with all this, I need you to do something. If Kierkegaard's perspective is opening something in you, share this video. Someone in your life is experiencing the Christmas emptiness and doesn't know why. Someone needs to hear that their feeling of hollowness isn't just cynicism, it's a sign that they're longing for something real. And subscribe to this channel. We're exploring the ideas that can transform how you experience your life. So what does Christmas look like if you take Kierkegaard seriously? What does it mean to move from the aesthetic and ethical stages into something religious? First, it means letting Christmas confront you rather than consuming Christmas. Instead of using the holiday for pleasant experiences, you let the holiday ask you questions. Who am I? What do I believe? What am I living for? What does it mean that I exist? Christmas isn't just a celebration of something that happened long ago. It's an invitation to respond personally to the central claim of Christianity. You can accept the invitation. You can reject it, but most people do neither. They simply ignore it and eat another cookie. Second, It means becoming an individual rather than staying in the crowd. The crowd celebrates Christmas automatically. The individual must choose to believe or choose not to believe, choose to respond or choose to ignore, but choose. Kierkegaard despised the lukewarm middle where most people live, neither hot nor cold, neither truly faithful nor honestly skeptical, just going along, year after year, with whatever everyone else does. Third, it means accepting that faith is not certainty. You don't get to have proof, you don't get to know for sure. Faith is believing without certainty. It's making the leap. It's committing to something that reason cannot guarantee. This is uncomfortable. Modern people want certainty. We want data and evidence and guarantees. But Kierkegaard says, sorry, that's not how faith works. If you could prove it, you wouldn't need faith. The leap is the whole point. Let me speak to those who are skeptical of the religious claims. Kierkegaard was actually close to you in certain ways. He was honest about doubt. He admitted uncertainty. He didn't pretend that faith was easy or obvious. But here's his challenge to the skeptic. Are you actually engaging with the question, or are you avoiding it just like the comfortable believer avoids it? Are you seriously considering what it would mean if the Christmas story were true, or are you dismissing it without genuine consideration? The comfortable believer goes through the motions without genuine faith. The comfortable skeptic dismisses without genuine inquiry. Both are avoiding the leap. Both are staying safe. Kierkegaard would have more respect for the atheist who genuinely wrestled with the question and said no than for the cultural Christian who said yes without it meaning anything. Third question. Whether you believe or don't believe, have you genuinely wrestled with the Christmas question? Have you seriously faced what it claims and decided your response? Or have you, like most people, avoided the question entirely? Write your reflection in the comments. Because this question is really about whether you're living authentically or just going along. I want to say something about the emotional emptiness of Christmas that many people feel. Kierkegaard would understand that emptiness perfectly. He would say, of course you feel empty. You've been given husks instead of grain. You've been celebrating the wrapping paper instead of the gift. You've been performing Christmas instead of encountering it. The hollowness isn't a sign that something is wrong with you. It's a sign that you're deeper than the shallow celebration allows for. It's a sign that you need something more than decorations and gifts and forced cheer. It's a sign that the religious stage is calling you. Whether you answer that call through Christian faith or through some other form of genuine spiritual seeking, the point is the same. You cannot be satisfied by the aesthetic and ethical stages forever. You are made for something more. Christmas reminds you of that, even as modern Christmas tries to distract you from it. As I conclude, I want to leave you with this. Christmas, at its core, is about incarnation. The word becoming flesh. The abstract becoming concrete. The distant becoming near. Whatever you believe about the theological claims, this much is universal. We long for meaning to become real. We long for love to take form. We long for ideas to become experience. Christmas at its best is about this incarnation in your own life, not just believing in love but expressing it, not just valuing family but being present to them, not just hoping for meaning but living it. Kierkegaard spent his life writing about faith, but he also wrote about action. Faith without works is dead. Belief without commitment is empty. The leap must be made in life, not just in thought. This Christmas, you have a choice. You can go through the motions again. Aesthetic pleasure and ethical duty. The crowd's Christmas. Or you can let Christmas confront you. Let it ask you who you are and what you're living for. Let it disturb your comfort. Let it demand a response. Before you go, I need you to do something. If this video helped you see Christmas differently, share it. Not everyone needs to hear this, but someone does. Someone who feels the emptiness. Someone who's ready for something more real. And subscribe to this channel. We're exploring ideas that can transform your experience of life's biggest moments. Kierkegaard died at 42, exhausted by the intensity of his own thought and spirit. He never had what most people would call a happy life. He broke off his engagement to the woman he loved. He was mocked in the press. He spent his final years attacking the established church, but he lived authentically. He made the leap. He refused the comfortable religion of his time. He demanded that Christianity be either genuinely followed or honestly rejected, but not this lukewarm middle that was neither. This Christmas his voice speaks across 2 centuries. Stop performing. Stop consuming. Stop going along with the crowd. Face the question. Make your choice. Take your leap. Whatever you land on, at least it will be yours. At least it will be real. That's what Christmas could be, if you let it.